And I now call upon Ms. Tarcila Rivera, a Quechuan activist from Ayacucho, Peru, the founder of CHIRAPAQ, the Hunger Project's partner organization in Peru and leader in the movement of indigenous women of the Americas. She was recently elected to the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, and I'm sure she will have some important messages for us. You have the floor.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Brother Chair. Firstly, we would like to thank you for all the progress with regard to indigenous women. We won't repeat everything which has been said by those who have spoken before me. Basically, all the information which our special rapporteur on the rights of indigenous peoples has produced, but we have to emphasize the progress and the substantial recommendations that we have heard in this session of the Commission on the Status of Women. Indigenous women are making progress. It is not easy. We will not speak about the problem we already know, but what are the challenges that are still ahead before the states as well as by us, the indigenous women and indigenous peoples? In this regard, when we link the rights of indigenous women, the economic empowerment, and a full life, we have to begin with the basics. Life for indigenous peoples, political life, it doesn't begin once we are adults, but it begins when we are girls, and the appropriate educational policies should offer quality education to girls so that we continue to advance mainly on something basic, which is to ensure that the society considers us the subject of rights and not the subjects of assistance. In this regard, education as the basis for empowerment, be it economic, political, cultural, and social, is essential at all levels. This capacity to start developing ourselves through appropriate education offers us opportunities to participate in the political life of our countries. And this is what states want, as well as societies and ourselves. Also, if we think of rights to the economy and sustainability, we believe that we have to guarantee basic resources to this end. Indigenous women who are here, rural and non-rural, professionals and non-professionals, given the diversity of indigenous women through our various generations and regions of the world, we think it is essential, for example, to recognize land rights, to recognize the right to access to natural resources. Because when we speak of economic development, we have to look at what is the main economic activity of indigenous women. Most have mentioned productive activity in rural areas and communities, but we also have the knowledge of indigenous women, and that is the capital, the asset with which they go to other cities when opportunities don't exist in their communities. In this regard, we believe that climate change affects us in our communities. It destroys ecosystems. It destroys opportunities to continue living and growing in our communities. But it's also destroying us in the cities. In this sense, we think we also have to recognize the contribution of indigenous women through their knowledge, through their practices, and based on the indigenous people's concept of the sustainability of resources and the environment, which is something not recognized today. Those of us who have been working in the indigenous movement know that consuming only what is necessary entails a concept of sustainability in nature and in life. So we have to be clear. What is the impact of climate change, not only on indigenous women? It has an impact on all of us, multidimensionally in our personal lives, in our public lives, in our culture and economic development. So if we indigenous women want to have the opportunity to participate, to listen, and to have our voices listened to, we are grateful for the presence of many delegations here, but since this is an interactive dialogue, let's do that. Let us establish a dialogue. What do we still need to implement and take from the local spaces to the global spaces? It's not just a political or financial efforts. We have to continue walking together and investing on ourselves as indigenous women, because our capacities can contribute to the solution of problems. As our sister Vicky said, we're not waiting for everything to drop from the sky. We have developed capacities, we have proposals, and we want to develop together with the states and with our society and indigenous peoples. We just need the implementation of recommendations which already exist in the United Nations system and in this very commission. Thank you.